Have you ever had an oceanic feeling?
From time to time.
Oh, what's it like?
It's floating, enjoying the move.
Really?
Yeah,
Does it come in waves?
sure.
Okay. Because we live by the ocean.
Yeah, we do.
Our house is very near the ocean, and we go to the ocean.
Yeah.
And when I go to the ocean, I have a feeling of joy. I'm happy to be there. I relax because, you know, the waves. I like the sound of the waves. I like to be at the beach. But I don't know if I've ever had an oceanic feeling.
Okay.
It sounds kind of overwhelming.
Okay.
Do you think it's overwhelming?
No, I think it's nice.
Okay, I see. Well, anyway, welcome to Late Listening. I'm Chris.
Jasmine.
Today, we're talking about our oceanic feelings. No, we're talking about Koki Nakano's album, Oceanic Feeling. And we're really excited because this is a pretty good album.
Yes.
And we both really like it, and we want to share it with you. So join us for our conversation. As we check our notes here, let me talk a little bit about Koki Nakano. I mean, you can look this stuff up if you want to, but most people don't know, I think, who this guy is. He was born in 1988 in Fukuoka, and he went to music high school, and he was going to be a classical musician. But he realized at some point that the classical music performers should have in mind the composer's purpose. And he didn't like that. He felt like that really kind of boxed him in. And although he really liked classical music, he just couldn't, you know, it actually drove him to quit. He completely quit. And then he entered Tokyo University of the Arts. And this is kind of interesting. He joined a band called Gas Law that was formed by his brother, Yuta Nakano, and also Daiki Tsuneta, who is the present member of the rock band King Gnu.
I had no idea.
King Gnu Connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are one of the most, like, awesome, like, cool, like, a little bit different pop bands, I think.
Yeah. I don't know their music so well, but King Gnu is huge in Japan. And I think it's really cool that Koki Nakano joined a band with Daiki Tsuneta from King Gnu.
Talented people connected.
There was also a French cellist named Robin Dupuis who was in the band, and he composed, Koki Nakano composed the pieces that they would play. So because of this French cellist, and they toured France, and then because of that, Nakano was interested in France, and so that's kind of where he went. And so now he's actually based in Paris, and he works with dance companies and film companies, and he composes music for them, and that's where he's at now.
Nice.
So I saw this interview with Koki Nakano, and the interviewer was asking him, you know, where did this album Oceanic Feeling come from? And he talked about how he had a workshop with this visual artist named Kohei Nawa, and also a choreographer, Damien Jallet. And in northern Japan, in this bay, they basically filmed this performance that they worked on. And it was his piano and his chair were like floating on the sea surface. And then these dancers were performing around him, like soaking their legs in the seawater. And based on that, he kind of came up with like the essence of this album. It's really kind of cool.
Yeah.
And Koki Nakano has said that he wanted to visualize like birth and how, you know, the infant is surrounded by water and it's kind of an oceanic feeling. So it draws on both the, you know, life in general, but also the birth.
Yeah. I just have this like complicated feeling towards the information, the background information on the music, I guess.
Why is that?
Because I just feel like once I know that I can't like get out of that filter, so like
Sure.
kind of too
Sure.
bad. Like
I shouldn't have said anything. Just forget
I mean,
everything I just said.
it's nice to know. Sometimes it's interesting, but at the same time, like I always tell you, like how I listen to the music is very, very personal.
Sure, sure.
It's like
Me too.
It's like, yeah, it's kind of like watching a movie based on a novel, and then like how you visualize it's like, oh, this is not what I thought
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
You know,
Right.
I just kind of feel that way, but yeah, it's okay. I mean, some people like that kind of thing more than the actual music itself.
That actually segues very nicely into my next point.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm just talking forever here, but in the liner notes, Koki Nakano has like extensive liner notes for this album. Every song, he just talks about like what it means to him, what he was visualizing, like where it comes from.
I kind of don't like that.
Exactly. I agree with you. I agree with you. Like in track number 9, Treg, he says the human immune system has an ability to attack and destroy non-self cells, such as cells infected with viruses or bacteria. And it's like I kind of just want to listen to the music,
Yeah.
man. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I mean, he's got like French poetry in here. He's got quotes from the Metamorphosis by Ovid, the poet Ovid. I mean, he's got like a lot of inspiration and he wants to share that. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of disregard it and just go like, you made a good record and I like
Yeah.
listening to your album. I don't even know the song titles because I let it play all the way through. I'm sorry, man. I'm just not getting like, even a
Yeah.
1 out of 100th of what you're like,
Yeah.
you're going for. So, I mean, we're on the same page in
Yeah.
that sense. I just wanted to give anybody who's watching this some sense of who he is and what he's all about. And, he seems like a really interesting guy. He seems very intellectual. How he's coming up with these things is very personal, yet he's reaching for a very large theme.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, anyway. So, how about the record itself? Let's go to our personal take on it. What do you think about? I mean, we both play this album all the time, over and over
Yeah,
again.
maybe a little too much. Like I feel like I'm gonna just put this down for a bit after this because I feel like I listen to it too much. But it's not, what, like when you love it so
It's a
much
good
and
thing.
you,
It's a good
you
thing.
play it so many times and then it just doesn't have that, first like that very
The
much of the
spark.
spark.
Yeah, yeah.
It just doesn't give you anymore. Too
Oh,
bad,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It used to be such an inspirational, like, if I put on this album, I could come up with something really creative. Like, this was the CD that I counted on for a long, long time. And then now I feel like that's kind of going away.
I see.
But anyway, this album is just such a, it touches my creativity. Like, if I'm trying to draw or trying to write my journal or trying to think of a new idea for my work, I just put it on and then I can always get something by the time that this album ends.
Nice.
And then when the first track of the first sound comes on, bum,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
sound is
Yeah.
like, it just kind of immediately kind of turns me on to that world of the Koki Nakano's world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just there.
You're locked in. Yeah.
I'm there.
Sure.
Yeah, and that cue, boom, the F, and the F sharp. Mm-hmm. That sound is like, yeah, it's like a Pavlov's dog. Like I go into the creative mode,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love the piano. I love how it's so layered, yet it doesn't sound too busy because a lot of the sounds are really kind of way back in there, and it's calming, but also it moves, and it
Yes.
has a really nice balance of like a lot of elements. He never brings in like too much stuff, and it also, the things that he does bring in kind of fall away, and always it's rooted on the piano,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Yeah, every song has this flow, like you said, and the movement, and that reminds me of the river. Like I know it's oceanic feeling, but I don't feel much of ocean.
Neither do I.
It's more like river to me, or the wind.
Yeah.
It gives me the hints of this nature, natural movement.
For me, it's rain.
Rain,
Rain.
really?
Yeah, like I was actually gonna say, I feel like track 1 is like a coming storm. Especially at the end, it kind of has like a staticky synthesizer, like static. And the piano starts doing a kind of a staccato thing. And then track 2 and 3 both kind of build on that, and it really sounds like the staccato faster piano is like raindrops coming down.
Okay. I didn't think about rain, I guess.
Oh, really? Yeah. But I mean, I could see the wind because it does have this kind of sweeping
Yeah,
thing, which
very much wind.
I think for Koki Nakano, that's the ocean probably.
Yeah.
But for me, it was more like wind and rain, like a storm.
Which is really weird because wind, I feel like, is the most difficult element to capture in art.
Sure.
Like in drawing or photograph.
Yeah. Well,
You have
yeah.
to capture the things that are moving, like
Right.
leaves or, grass, or it's hard to capture. It's not like water or fire.
Right.
Like, how do you really express wind in sound? It's
Yeah.
like, it's hard, but like somehow I get that feeling from this.
Well, especially he's using a piano and synthesizer, whereas if you're using wind instruments
Yeah.
or even stringed instruments like a violin or something, I feel like it's a little easier maybe. But with piano, it's so percussive, I
Yeah,
mean,
sure.
yeah. And actually, I want to say about the river. It's interesting that you mentioned the river because he said spending time at the riverside of the Seine near my studio, watching the surface of the water. At times, the river surface temporarily yet drastically changes its aspect, being affected by the wind, the light, the passing of boats, and many other things. But before long, it retrieves its ripples and its own rhythm. And then also, track number 5, Irie. What does Irie mean? That's a Japanese word.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to
Well,
say.
he said it right there, but it's an inlet.
Irie meaning inlet.
Inlet, yeah, inlet. So he said, in 2019, I held a workshop with several dancers at the inlet in Ishinomaki, Japan. This piece is based on my mindscape at that moment. I love how he says, this piece is based on my mindscape at this moment, not like my feeling or
Yeah.
my thoughts. I mean, he really seems to like that, like river and ocean, the water connection. And then he's connecting it with, like, track number 11 is the birth canal. Track number 4, external cephalic version, is the procedure where they flip the fetus so that the head can face down
Yeah.
if it's facing the wrong way.
What is this music like really giving me, like telling me is I wanted to kind of name it, like label it.
Yeah.
I was like, I came up with a harmony of dissonance.
Harmony of dissonance.
Yeah, it's like so much dissonance chords going on.
Yeah.
But it's like harmonizing, so it's exactly like the nature.
Yeah.
But there's always like something weird or something that you can't expect from the nature. So that makes you feel kind of uneasy because you never know.
And yet nature is a complete system. It's
It's harmony.
a perfect circle,
So it's-
essentially. Yeah.
So I feel like from this album I get the feeling of
Right.
harmony of dissonance.
That's interesting.
And yeah, so I think actually this album picks the listeners. If you don't like to feel that like uncertain feelings, like drunken feelings or dissonance chords,
Yeah.
then you wouldn't like it.
Sure.
Maybe I can imagine some people not liking, like, I feel kind of anxious. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. If you stripped away a lot of that dissonance and you stripped
Yeah.
away a lot of those kind of weirder synths or like the treated piano, and it was more like a standard neoclassical album, I think it would be much less interesting.
Yeah,
And I think
definitely.
I wouldn't go back to it. I would probably still like it.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't
that's
love
why,
it.
That's why he took the path of non-classical musician's way, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I think so.
definitely. I can see, like, if he wanted to create something like this, he can stay on the classical path.
No.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I actually wrote down that what you just said too. Like, it's like if things are too pretty or too perfect, then we hesitate to touch it.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
But if it's a little dirty or used up, then it's okay, kinda
Yeah.
like-
Yeah. Well, I think almost every track on this album, he uses a treated piano. It's almost always, there's layers of piano, but there's always like some note that's kind of like, it's like there's something on the string or it's like not how a piano should sound. But then the rest of it is like beautiful piano. And it always has these kind of broken,
Yeah.
kind of a, ugliness like within that beautiful composition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to talk about the thing that I don't like.
Yeah, go
which
ahead.
is I like this whole record and I do listen to it all the way through. But the very last track, track number 12, Body Scan, has a lot of,
Yeah, this is definitely a little different.
yeah. It first of all, it has a lot of like kind of mechanical sounds. It also has like hospital sounds. Like it has
Sound
like
effect.
sound effects like the beeping of a,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an EKG machine or like
Becomes a beat.
yeah. And I don't really like hospital things. I don't like medical things. I get kind of freaked out when I, think about medical stuff and machines, like getting hooked up to machines and things like
Yeah.
that. And then the fact that it's called Body Scan, and also it has another thing that I kind of grapple with, which is I feel like it's a very 90s or even 80s and 90s kind of thing, which is the sampled voice.
Yes, the voice comes in.
Yeah, this British guy starts. I think he's actually speaking the poetry from the Metamorphosis by Ovid, which is cool, but it's like in a certain kind of track, like a sampled voice or a sample from a movie will work. But in a lot of tracks, it doesn't work. And I feel like in this track, I wasn't crazy about it. It was kind of like, yeah. It's kind of like
Yeah.
in the Dead Texan where they start singing.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Voice
I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
just kind of leave that out of there.
But I guess like I didn't even think about this. Like I'm just as you were talking, I was just thinking maybe like this is kind of like an evolution. It just starts with the track number one, which is very simple, and then it becomes more and more complicated.
Yeah.
And variety of sounds come in, and then so in the album like this, how would you end?
Right.
And also he seems like he likes the idea of life and birth and
Yeah.
everything. So maybe like baby, just only the soul, only the nature. I don't know, like soul is like floating around in the nature.
Yeah.
And it's birth canal
Comes into
is
the
11 and then
fetus.
12. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you hear the voice of humans and like
Sure,
a
sure.
more human world.
Sure. So it's like the baby coming out,
yeah.
maybe. Yeah, maybe something like that. I mean, if I were to, like, if I was a producer of this album, I would recommend him to end with the birth canal because it's like, that's the birth. Logically, that would be
Yeah.
done. But for some reason, this medical, like, body scan
Yeah, it's
and all
too
the,
much for
the
you.
hospital
Yeah.
sounds, and it's just, I just don't
Yeah,
like it.
it's a little weird.
It is weird. And the whole composition is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like you said, it doesn't really fit with the other songs on the album.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of times that like my sense and like the general sense is very different.
Sure.
You know how I want the song, every song to stay in minor chord.
Yeah,
and
instead of
then-
switching to major at the chorus or something.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of thing bothers me so much. But that's it seems
Keep it
like
dark.
that's not what everyone wants. So
Yeah, no.
in
Most
in the
people
same
don't want it, I think.
sense, like you must have some kind of evolution or the transformation or
Sure.
some kind of resolve in the album. Then what would you do? Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
That's one take.
Yeah.
And to me, like I would stay like in that weird dissonant world,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's probably not what everybody wants to hear.
I'm the same way. I would have stayed. Yeah. One of the other things that I'd like to talk about is the very first song, Oceanic Feeling.
Yeah.
Like you talked about that beautiful chord at the beginning, that kind of dissonant but yet beautiful chord. That chord and the subsequent piano, it's not exactly the same, but it reminded me of Satie, Eric Satie, the composer, and the Gymnopede.
No, we call it Gymnopedi. I don't know.
Gymnopedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gymnopedi. He did the piano, the solo piano. I think it's Gymnopede number 1.
Yeah, number one.
I
yes.
believe. Yeah. Can you actually show that on the piano? The difference
As
of
much as I can.
of Koki Nakano's
Yeah.
chord and Satie's chord, because we thought it was the same, and then we listened to it back
Yeah,
to
it's
back, and
not.
it was not
Yeah.
quite the same. But let's go look at that. Okay. Please show me Koki Nakano's first chord of Oceanic Feeling.
Yeah, it's this
What is this? F
F and the F sharp,
F and F sharp. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the dissonance.
which is so genius. Because if you go like this, it just doesn't sound good. This is the same.
Yeah.
But to make this F sharp octave down, it's just so much more like soothing, which I didn't know. Wow,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many of you know, but in order to make the dissonance, in order to make dissonant chords, like you just have to just touch the neighbor.
Yeah.
Usually these things don't get along.
Right.
1 and 3, or to make the full chord, it's 1, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3. But it's usually neighbors don't get along.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so it's same. It doesn't
Yeah.
like sound good,
No.
but then this sounds good. I don't know why.
What's the difference? Yeah, it's the octave somehow.
Yeah, and then
Separating it by octave.
And then this just sets the mood of the album, in my opinion. And then, oh god, something like I don't remember. I can't.
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
and then
right?
it comes back. Yeah, right, right.
Kind of like this kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. That's great.
Yeah, it's really amazing how he puts it. Like it's really mind blowing.
Do you know Sati off the top of your head? Oh, okay. So what's this?
Huh? I don't know, like technically,
Oh, well, that's okay.
right?
It's not F.
I think it's this and this.
Oh, okay. It's like A and B. Or G.
Yeah, and then the seventh comes in.
Right. Okay. Oh, which is the F sharp?
Yeah.
Is that why-
Maybe that's why you think it's like
Yeah, I see. Must be the F sharp. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
It's so different, but yet like when I first heard Koki Nakano's
Yeah.
one, I thought like, oh, it sounds so similar to Sati.
But I mean Sati is like not like the standard like orthodox classical sound either.
Right.
I mean it gives it a really weird feeling too.
It does. It does.
Yeah, I think it's because of the seventh kind of makes it kind of modern.
Yeah.
And also like the insanity, like it gives it insanity.
Yeah.
I mean, some people like kind of fear this song.
Really?
Yeah, because it sounds psychotic.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, from a music theory standpoint, I'm sure it's
Yeah.
nothing you would ever like think of, you know.
I think it's something like that.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
definitely like this. It's like it sounds dreamy and kind of pretty, but there's something wrong with it, and then it's like it's the dissonance going on. Like
Yeah.
I mean, the G and then like the seventh, so it's like
Yeah,
this. It's
yeah,
like,
right,
It's like
right,
there's
right.
that
It's again-
neighbor going on. So yeah, maybe that's why you feel like the same kind of vibe
Yes, I think so.
to this thing.
Again, it's almost separated by octave, right? G
Yeah.
and G flat or F sharp.
Yeah.
But it's separated again.
Right, yeah, here and
Yeah,
here,
you're
yeah.
right.
It's not like this, yeah. So it's not you don't detect like like so directly, but yeah, you can kind of detect that's there.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of more scary because it's pretending like it's a gentle, honest man, but like something is wrong.
Beneath the surface, there's some
Yeah.
insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All there's left to say is thank you so much for watching. We hope that you enjoyed this video, and we hope you'll give Koki Nakano's Oceanic Feeling a try, because it's a great record. Please give us a comment. Let us know what you think about music.
Yes.
Okay. See you next time.